I'm just going to say hello. Everyone can wave. Thanks to everybody who watched the show tonight from East Pashock Opera Project in collaboration with Pistolas Restaurants, Sancho Pistolas, Jose Pistolas, Pistolas del Sur, and also presented by Remax One Realty, the Capri Desecker team. Capri, we hope you're watching right now. We're just so freaking thankful to you for all your ideas and inspiration and for helping to make this happen. So everyone, thanks for tuning into the Q&A. We'll be here for, a little while to answer some questions. If you have them, throw them in the chat, and we'll see what we can answer for you. Don't get too dirty with your questions. I know you people. Just kidding.
Those you can message personally, and we're happy to talk about it off stream, but
The ones for me should be addressed to Bob Hockey at...
I'd be careful about what he says when you're not around.
I just want to take a quick moment to introduce who you're looking at right now. We've got Aurelien Eulert, who is our pianist from tonight, and who is also, thanks for the button, man, who is also the director for ePOP, and has been here since we kind of started this whole thing. And we also have Ashley Marie Robillard, our soprano, and Joshua Blue, our tenor, our beautiful couple there who gave us so much beautiful.
You'll see we're wearing ePOP colors, purple and blue.
We are.
Thank you very much. And hello, I am Katrina Thurman. I'm our general and artistic director. And we're so glad. We're so glad to hear. So we'd love it. If you've got any questions for us, throw them out. We already have one. What are your Valentine's Day plans? I want to hear from everyone, but let's start, Ashley and Josh, since you're coupled up right there. Why don't you tell us what your plans are?
Well, our plan for the weekend tomorrow, we're gonna do something really romantic. We're gonna go out and get COVID tests. We thought that'd be super romantic. And we're getting our dinner from Pistolas for tomorrow evening. We're very excited for that. But what we're gonna do on Valentine's Day is very nerdy. We're gonna stream video games together on Twitch because it's a fun way for us to have a date day. We like to play video games together a lot. So we're going to kind of share that with the world of just us hanging out and having a good time. Nothing crazy. Might open a bottle of wine, have a good time.
All COVID safe, make some dinner together. But we're looking forward to that Twitch stream.
It's our second Valentine's Day together, if you can believe it. We're still relatively young as far as couples go.
Get out of here, you're so young. Now, the Valentine's COVID thing, does that mean that she puts the swab up your nose, and is that how we do it?
It's the most romantic way we can do it.
Hands to give each other drinks. Yeah, that's the plan.
The old couple swab.
Oh, no.
I regret nothing.
All right, Aurelien,
I'll drink to that.
Kelsey and your adorable Max. I wish everyone could see, because during the show, we're texting each other, checking all the freaking social media and everything.
Oh, I will show you. No,
and,
I can't.
Aurelien sent a picture of his lovely son Max just out of the bath. We just see his backside pointing to the TV, like, "There's Daddy," but also there's Daddy.
Yeah, he was very confused. Although, he's I'm gonna forgive him, but it's not the first time he's seen me in those Zoom times and digital concerts. It's not his first time, so he should know by now that I live in both places. But whatever.
What have you got planned for your little family plus Daisy the dog? What are you?
So I have tomorrow. I'm actually working.
All right.
Boo. But we have, for those of you who don't know, we have a 15-month toddler. So our idea of a date is basically, if we can get through a movie, we're good. So
Nice.
And actually, my wife Kelsey reminded me today that apparently I had already put some demands for Valentine's Day, which included London broil dinner and a movie. So I guess we're gonna do that, because I guess I did already request to do that. So, but yeah, just COVID Valentine number one.
It's number one.
I can't remember. I can't remember what anything last year was. So.
I meant for us to cheers earlier to the show. So if you at
That's
home
right.
have a little something in hand, cheers to tonight.
Cheers.
To love notes.
To love notes to love. If any
I don't have
ePOP.
anybody
To ePOP.
Here.
Here, we got you.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, I have to drink. Wait.
What about you and Bob? Once you're done with the drink.
Right? I feel like our weekend was pretty much all about tonight and getting ready for tonight. It's been really busy. I'm grateful for that. I mean, I also want to thank Aversa PR because they just, with Corey at Aversa PR, he's like helped to make this event very well known. He's got up there at Pistola's Restaurants and ePOP and our collaboration. So we've just had a lot to do and it's been wonderful. But yeah, I think tonight we had our Pistola's dinner while we watched the show. And while I texted and did everything. And
I know. I wish I was in Philly. That's the whamp whamp for me.
Well, we'll eat ours for you.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have Valentine's Day's M&Ms. So.
Hey, that is valid.
Woohoo you.
Valentine's Day.
Valid.
I think we got something. We're gonna do something Sunday, the actual day, but I'm not quite sure yet. So someone was asking. I think we had a question that asks, "Are we going to do this again?" I believe that was the question. And I can answer that. The answer is
yes. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the day after.
And it'll be up for a bit.
This show is happening again and again and again. You can watch it as many times as you want. Both the show that you just watched, Love Notes, and this Q&A. It won't be live anymore, but you can watch that. It'll be up for a full week till 11:59 p.m. on February 18th. So watch all you want. In terms
Which
of
thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
I'm very happy because my mom is in Europe and she can watch it tomorrow morning. I
My
know
family-
she's gonna do that the first thing when she wakes up. So
My family in England also plans on watching it.
right.
So
that's great.
We're
We wanted to make
worldwide.
sure-
Truly.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that people would really have a chance to see it more than once. And there's so much happening these days digitally. I mean, it was even a decision for us. Do we really want to do a show digitally because there's so much content? But first of all, we just felt like this was a really special thing. It was a really lovely idea that Josh and Ashley came up with, and then we just kind of built on over time, but they had the real kind of nuts and bolts for it. Also, Capri Remax Realty kind of got us going on it too. But it's, I think the way that the format is, our guest artists popping in, our lovely couples who did their interviews, we had this lovely little something different, I feel like. So it was worth it.
Josh, great job putting it all together. That was
Yeah,
smooth.
Josh did do the editing for
Thank you.
the bulk of this.
I am so amateur at this, so it's not something that I am used to doing. But for ePOP, I couldn't say no even if I wanted to, but I didn't want to say no. I wanted to say yes. I love this company and I love what you guys are doing. And exactly. Like I said,
you offered.
This is my Valentine's Day gift to ePOP. Let me put this together for you to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you enjoyed
it was such a beautifully, uniquely Philadelphian experience as well. With Capri being the person to, have underrated it, and the collaboration with Pistolas and the Philadelphian couples who were featured, and the people who have performed in Philly being featured. Like, it was really a beautiful way to bring the art to Philly and bring Philly to everyone.
I also don't know if you know this, Kat and Aurelien and everyone watching, but technically, this was my Philadelphia debut as a Philly artist.
Hey, and you got to do it in your living room.
I got to do it in my living room. I moved to Philly in August to join Ash here. Like, this is, it was really cool to make this be my first concert in Philly.
There you go.
Great. It's not going to be your last, man. And not just
No.
I have a feeling some other folks will be interested in what you got to offer.
Well, I'm not going anywhere. It's a great city.
It was my first on a blue piano.
Hey.
It was.
Yeah.
It was our first time performing together, Aurelien.
That's true. That's true.
I have to also give a shout out, and we will actually answer the question. Yes, there's going to be more of this. I do want to give a shout out in the moment to my husband, Bob Hockey, who's over there, for also having a lot of really cool ideas that kind of help bring it together. Too, about structure and bringing in some of our wonderful guest artists and everything. So, but yes, we plan to do more. We've already got lots of ideas in the works, and it's just kind of figuring out what's going to be next. The digital offering is amazing, and it's a ton of work. So we hope that this kind of lifestyle doesn't go on too long, because we want to bring you stuff in person. But we probably will be kind of blending digital and real life, with safe distance and stuff in the coming months. But more.
Well, we're 2 for 2 now, Kat, right? We're 2 for 2. We have 2 shows in someone's living room,
Right.
COVID or
Yeah.
not, and 2 shows outside.
That's right. That's right.
Going well so far.
Yeah.
Now we just got to do shows in other people's living rooms. Get ready. We're just going to show up with
We're
a
coming to
piano
you.
and with singers.
That was actually one of the initial ideas. And the next question is how it was
That's
ePOP born, so we can talk on that. I mean, Ashley and Aurelien were in our first ever concert, so they can also speak to that. But it's funny because, yes, right? One of the ideas was our first ever concert was in our living room right here, this piano. We managed to cram about 40 people in the living room. It was a packed house. It was lovely.
It was great.
Mhm.
You all were fabulous.
As were you.
Yeah, you too.
That's right. You sang.
I did sing for that one. I didn't sing for this one because there was a lot of work to do. I wanted y'all to shine and me not to just be frazzled. But one of the ideas before COVID happened was, folks who have, spaces in their homes, could we bring something to multiple homes in the area? So maybe when we get through the whole COVID concerns, we could do that. It's an idea. But Aurelien and Ashley, tell us how your experience was with when ePOP was born and how it was for you. Do it.
I mean,
Ladies first.
I got you. For what it's worth, I'd known Kat and Bob for a while and had such deep love for them as humans and knew that their brains were such brilliant things alone, let alone together. Like together, it's insane. It's a powerhouse duo. So when they asked me to participate, I immediately said yes. I would do anything for these two, genuinely. And then to get the opportunity to perform with Aurelien, it was such a natural, wonderful, fun thing. I remember from the first time we got to work together, it just felt as easy as breathing. Genuinely, it was super fun, super intuitive. And I loved the idea of bringing back the sort of parlor concert idea. It was a very intimate, beautiful thing. There were people that I knew and loved from the Opera Philly scene. There were people that I knew and loved from around town, people I'd never met before. And it was just such a beautiful, intimate experience, which is the thing I think y'all excel at so wonderfully well, is bringing something that can be stereotyped in a very not accessible way, which I don't think is warranted. I think opera and I think music and I think communicating via that art form actually is super accessible, and to bring us back to that sort of parlor feeling of being in your living room, being amongst friends was such a beautiful thing. And the idea of wanting to bring art to the community of South Philadelphia and beyond, it was something I wanted to be a part of, immediately. The minute you suggested it, I was like, yes, I love this place. Philly has really become my adult home. It was an honor to get to be a part of something that was just really beautiful and really community oriented. And then to do something like this where it, expanded and brought Philly to everyone, it was really beautiful. And that first time, it just really felt like it was the beginning of something really, really, really special. And I'm still extremely honored that you let me hang around that time and then continued to bring me back for whatever reason. I love y'all. It just felt like it was a really special moment. It felt like it was the beginning of something that I was really excited to see continue to grow, and the journey that was to come with it. I was just thrilled, genuinely. And it was nice performing with you. You're damn good at the piano thing.
Yeah.
Please excuse our roommate's lovely laughter.
Oh.
Just a constant reminder that it's quarantine. We're all working from home.
Oh, I remember one of the takes of that we had to abandon because their roommate is just above the room that has the piano, so it's like we're getting, I can't remember if we were recording or if it was like
we were recording.
We were absolutely.
And
it was
then
the middle
all of a sudden,
the
like,
beginning of a
he
take.
dropped something or something, and it was just like, whoa.
I can find that video somewhere, I'm sure.
It's a good blooper because we genuinely were like, "Are you okay?"
It's very funny. And we can talk about that more later. But first, Aurelien, you.
Yeah.
Gosh, yes. December 2019 feels like ages ago.
It's had worked together before. Remember, we did that.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked together, but yeah, with ePOP. I mean, for the ePOP, I mean, Bob promised me booze, so and now no, and it's interesting because it's something that I said earlier today, but now that we're hopefully closer to the end than the beginning with this pandemic, I'm starting to reflect a lot and on what I don't want to say the new normal because I hate that term, but like what opportunities we can take from the COVID time, right? And what's going to stick, because we I think we all agree that it's to a certain degree it's going to take a long time to get back to what was before, in terms of like doing productions and doing having audience members in seats and stuff like that. But one thing that was a love of mine for before my opera career was I was doing a lot of chamber music and art song recitals, and I was doing a lot of salon concerts. And that is one thing that attracted me to the first project with ePOP, because I was like 40 people in a living room on an instrument that I know and like, with people that I knew of, not all knew, but at least knew of or had seen perform before and loved, and I was like, yeah, sign me up, because there's something I feel, I hope, but I feel like after however many years of everybody six feet apart, I feel like there's a chance for the setting of having a concert in your living room for 20 people and just having that intimacy and like the thing that you can't have if you're watching a production from like the upper balcony, like having that connection. I hope that kind of comes back and is popular again, because that's
I think it's
pretty cool.
It's a really engaging way. I feel like some of the folks that we had here at that initial house concert are friends that don't always go to the opera. They do like the arts, they'll get out there and stuff, but they're not consistent about it. And they came to our house concert and we're just like, we really loved this. It was so amazing to be that close to the singers. And I think that's what happens when you have those kind of events for folks, that they can be that close to these powerful voices and really feeling like literally the vibrations in your body, and seeing someone emote that closely, hearing the piano, like watching the way that the collaboration works between the pianist and the singer. It's really lovely.
And let's face it, we've all seen everybody's living room for a year, so it's about time we go in them, right?
Yeah.
and I will say that was one thing that was also great with this project, with Ashley and Josh, that we found a way, and I think we should say that for the people that probably have, I don't know if the question is going to come up, but like, we like, I wore a mask. I mean, obviously they live together, but like to make it possible for me to go into their home, we had an air filtration system that apparently is able to have people stand like 3 feet from each other without masks, but we were not that risky. but I mean, it's nice to get back to it, after. I mean, I'm sure I speak for everyone that like, there's only so many digital performances from like Zoom, people in different spaces that it was good while it lasted, and I think we're all a little bored of it. So the opportunity to see two people in the same space is great.
Yeah, and also, I'm really excited with this time has been, I don't want to use the word unprecedented because it's been used a lot, but I am really excited also, on the other hand, to see some of the innovations that have been forced to be made during this time that have worked really well, that have been really, really cool, really innovative things that I think have potentially done some really good things for the art form as far as rethinking what it means to present music. I'm really excited to see how that then translates into what is to come and the conversations we've been having and the world we've been navigating. I am also really excited and really hopeful for when we reach whatever the after looks like, what that looks like. I am really excited. And also, like, bringing it back to that parlor culture is cool, especially when you consider that a lot of this music, some of the older stuff that we were singing, what it was written was intended for exactly that format.
Exactly.
That was exactly what it was written for.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. We have more questions in.
Yay!
From our question master here. What was your favorite piece to perform from this program? So each of you can just talk that out real quick. Aurelien? Oh, sorry, I've jumped on you, Josh.
Oh no, I figured I'd give them a second to think, since I just got to sit here and look pretty, which I'm great at doing, so I didn't have a problem.
You are good.
Mine was Daydream. It was Daydream. And I, Kat and Aurelien and Ash and I've talked about this before. But Daydream and spoilers ahead, this is going to be really sappy, so prepare yourself. Daydream was the first song I sang when I knew I was in love with Ashley. It's a really personal song that I sang with New York Festival of Song about a year, 2 years ago, year
and some change.
And Ashley came to watch, and I got to the end of the song and I sang, "Daydream, don't break my reverie until I find that she's daydreaming just like me." And I looked out into the audience and not intentionally locked eyes with Ash. And in that moment, I just started crying on stage. Like I was a wreck. And so that song is so deeply, deeply tied to our relationship now in my mind that every time I sing it, it's just a really beautiful moment for me. So getting to then sing that, especially for this really lovely, intimate concert that is all about love, like it really meant a lot to me to get to kind of share that with everyone.
Asha, I'll let you recover from that one.
Thank you.
So I will say that it really makes my life easier when we have a program that is curated by the singers, and that so you guys made the selections, and then we were by Google Docs and all that. We got the list and we eliminated a few things, but mostly for time, because I looked at that first list and I was like, wow, this is going to be easy. This is all good stuff. And I mean, I don't have a favorite. I mean, there's so many that have a special feel to them. Like Daydream is what is a favorite, but then like the Katrina, I hadn't performed in about 10 years, I think it was, and so it was nice to revisit. The Debussy is obviously something that's very personal and very in me, because I'm from there. And Joy. Yeah, I'm French, by the way. If you didn't hear it, but no, yeah, I don't have a favorite. It was a very, very, very good selection. Yeah, I can't pick one.
Okay, well, we'll jump to Ash.
Yeah, so mine is a tie between the Debussy, because it's one of my favorites. I also love performing it with you. It's really fun.
And Elixir, I just think right?
Yeah, my favorite, Bel Canto. I don't enjoy singing Bel Canto super much.
We've had a running joke on that one.
Yes, absolutely.
It's fair.
The Debussy, I love that set. I think it is just gorgeous. But also a little bit in love. And Josh doesn't know this, so I'm super sorry to tell you this for the first time on camera. But
oh no, is it going to be sappy?
Yeah, it's definitely sappy. I'm so sorry. That was something that was introduced to me by one of the most important people of my life, one of my closest mentors. And that piece has always meant the world to me. And from the first moment I sang it, I knew that I was waiting to find the person to sing it for. And it wasn't until that I met Josh that I realized that was the person I was waiting to sing it for.
I'm laughing because I'm just looking at Josh on my screen because I just wanted to see
he's just dying.
I wasn't expecting for you to get back at me so soon.
Keeping you on your toes. No, but genuinely, the first time I ever for the first time I ever sang it, I remember having this profound feeling of I know that I meant to sing this to someone, I just don't know who yet. And then that feeling became a little bit more sure, as of the last while or so.
You're so
keep working on it, Josh.
Okay, it'll happen. One day she'll know that it's me.
We have a question from Meredith and James who say, we met at choir camp 25 years ago. Where did you meet your partners? So
You want to go first, Aurelien?
Yeah, sure. It's kind of like choir camp. We met at Kelsey and I met doing a production together down in Palm Beach Opera. We did Tales of Hoffman together, and I was the diction coach, and she was an assistant stage manager. Yeah, I won't tell the whole story because we don't. The whole story is long.
I get it,
but it involved the sandwich. That's all I'll tell.
What an amazing cliffhanger to give us.
it involved a sandwich.
That could mean so many things.
Technically, our relation also involved a sandwich.
You're right, but before we tell ours, I actually would love to hear. Kat, I think you should answer this as well. Are you down to answer as well?
As a matter of fact, the man who I ended up with is right here in the room. He's been hanging out on the computer, so to help us on the other end. So he's going to come in.
And what a cutie! What a cutie he
Such
is!
Such a cutie.
Love hockey.
Look at this handsome human
Playing the piano with his butt.
That was butt.
What a gorgeous couple.
We love a little butt piano. Good for you.
So,
well, after what we saw
More
tonight, you
piano
know,
playing they actually did in the performance.
yeah, right, because he did.
that was funny. I appreciated that.
We wondered.
I love that bit.
Yeah, we wondered if y'all caught that moment. We think we're funny, but who knows?
So do we.
Bob and I met at a church happy hour. And he can help me tell it. But I moved here from New York City, and I had no friends really, because when you're an opera singer, you generally are on the road or you're at home, and you're not necessarily out in the world meeting people at work, etc. So I found a nice, open and affirming church, and I joined them, and they had a great 20s and 30s group, and we'd do like brunch and like Friday unwind happy hours, like at whatever restaurant in the city once a month. And so I just would force myself to go out to try to like meet people and make friends and maybe find a date, you know. And one night we were at the Continental happy hour for the church, Continental in Center City. And this guy walks in who I was like, okay, I haven't seen him at church before, but he's really handsome. And I don't know if he's my type. It's like something is interesting about him. And I had my roommate with me. I just dragged her along so I wouldn't be alone, you know. And after about an hour, we were done. And he'd kind of been over there talking. I hadn't got to talk to him. So on the way out, I just walked up to him. Go ahead.
So the flip side of the story was I had been helping my friend Josh move. A few of us had, and
not me.
No, different Josh.
Different Josh.
This is religious Josh, and he'll watch this at some point, and he knows that I love him. And we helped him move, and he took the group of us out to Tangier, which is a bar that unfortunately, very sadly, no longer exists, for wings and beer after we moved him. And they're like the type of bar that has mystery beers. Like 9 out of 10 are skunk beers in a brown paper bag, and 1 out of 10 is a really nice beer, and you pay like $2 and they give you a brown paper bag. They don't know, surprise. And we sat there for just hours drinking and eating and drinking and eating after we moved him. And so the time came and we said, oh, great, where are we going? And conversations happened, and people were like, well, what do we want to do? And Josh says, well, I have a church happy hour. And my other friend looks to me and says, so what are we going to do? And I said, well, we're going to a church happy hour. Have you ever heard of that before? So, you know, for those that know me, I'm bouncing around just talking to everybody like a kid in the candy store. Just
you?
Wait,
what? Never.
And I'm talking to a couple random folks, and suddenly this woman comes up, taps me on the shoulder, and says, hi, my name's Katrina. And I said, hello, this is my roommate, so-and-so. I said, hello, we're leaving. And I said, okay. And they left, and I went back to my conversation.
So I said hi on the way out because I was just like, well, I want to say hi to the guy. I don't know. I just like, and he gave me his name. And I don't know what I thought I was doing, but I was in a time where I was just like.
Let's cut to the chase here. She friend requested me on Facebook
right after
an hour later.
How did you find him? That's incredible.
He gave his name.
Her friend requested a guy I didn't really know because I got his name and I knew a friend we had in common, and friend requested him. I was like, whatever, I'm just throwing it to the wind. Who cares?
So I just ignored it. And a couple of weeks later,
I need a second. I'm sorry.
I had a girlfriend at the time, to be fair. And I was hanging out with my friend
Christ.
I said, so, and
Oh.
I love her dearly. I said, so what's with this psycho Katrina? That friend requested me an hour after she said,
Oh my God. I love you too.
and my friend Josh says, oh, she probably just thinks you're part of the church group. I was like, she's actually an opera singer. And I was like,
A good
oh,
cover.
cool. So I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Well, yeah, as long as she's not hitting me or something weird. And I clicked accept.
And when I saw that after like 3 weeks, I was like, oh, that guy. Oh, cool. He accepted my friend request. And I looked at his Facebook page and I was like, looks like he has a girlfriend. Okay, no matter. And so over the next 4 months, we liked some of each other's posts, like a smattering, like 3 or 4. And that was it. We never talked again. And then suddenly at the end of my run with Opera Philadelphia for Barbara of Seville, I get a message on
Which you were incredible in. I remember seeing you in that and losing my damn mind.
Thank you. I got a message from this guy through Facebook Messenger about the Opera Philadelphia's Barber.
So yeah, I mean, I've done theater for a long time, obviously from my fake piano playing. And I have friends, Dave and Jill Whitman. Hello, if you're watching. We used to always go to the opera together, and we were supposed to go to this performance. They couldn't go, so someone else went with me, and I really did, especially from someone who has seen a lot of operas, I really did appreciate Katrina's performance, both from a comedic perspective, presence-wise. It was a great production of Barbara Seville. If you haven't seen it, see if you can get Opera Philadelphia to give you the archives, because it really was brilliant. And I messaged her just to say, hey, that was really great. That was awesome. And then we started talking, and eventually she said, let's grab a drink when I'm back in town. I said, okay. And that wasn't until Halloween. So our first date was, it's literally 5 or 6 months after we technically met at a bar.
Yeah.
For a church.
Nice.
Amazing.
Long story for the answer of church happy hour.
Church happy
Yeah,
hour.
right.
Incredible.
Not where I thought I
What's
was
falling
gonna,
on my ear, don't
was
mind
gonna
me.
go.
And
Amazing.
I'm getting Victus sponsorship here. Sorry.
Yet.
Yet. Asterisk, yeah.
Think big, think big.
Ashley and Josh, tell us, how'd you meet?
So we met at one of the happiest places on earth,
Genuinely.
Wolf Trap Opera
Disneyland?
Company.
Oh.
We were both,
Disney.
Disney's a close second. We were both artists there. And if you can believe it, in the summer of 2019, and so, we've been together for a
So
year
young.
and a little over a year and a half now. And Ash and I were in the same show, and we just connected as friends immediately.
Yeah, I remember having a moment where I immediately started, I'm usually very cagey about being physically close with someone until they tell me it's okay, because consent is very, very important for me, even in platonic situations. Fair. And something about Josh reminded me genuinely so much of a dear, dear friend of mine for a decade now, that I remember immediately being like, he said something and I had grabbed him in a way and I was like, I'm so sorry. You just really remind me, I already feel close to you. You remind me of someone that I know. I already feel like we have an infrastructure of friendship. If that's not cool, I'm so sorry.
And I was like, no, it's totally cool. We literally had one conversation and immediately became really good friends. And so we would hang out during rehearsals and after rehearsals. And because a sandwich is part of our story, we went to Panera Bread all the time. It was our go-to place between rehearsals, get a sandwich and some soup. And one day we were talking about going out to get some dinner.
You've been trying to get me to dinner for a minute.
I've been trying to get you to go, because I was like, this is a really cool person. I would love to get a proper meal with this person and just talk and get to know them. And at first it was not even in a romantic sense. It was this person is fascinating to me. I want to know all about them. They're incredible. And Ash said, yeah. So I said, let me find the weirdest restaurant I can find.
Not knowing that's so aggressively up my alley.
So we found this very strange little French restaurant in Vienna, Virginia.
It was the worst impression of a gaudy Louis XV sort of situation. Everything was gold. gilded.
Oh, it was so
There
weird.
were replica Degas everywhere.
The waiter was a very strange man who broke the tension of our own social anxiety by being like, so when are you guys work together? Like, are you dating? And we're like, oh God, no, no, we're just friends.
And then instead of doing what someone would normally do in that situation, which is back off because you've made the people uncomfortable, he just kept upping the ante.
He doubled down hard.
Like every time he would come to the table, he'd say something more and more awkward. So that way we would legitimately black out for whenever he was there. And then when he left, we'd be like, what just happened? Until by the end of the dinner, he was like, so the next time you're here, you'll propose. And we were like,
like, this is insane. No, thank you. And so we left that evening and I went to drop Ashley off. And I was like, I decided to just ask. And I said, hey, because he was like, he was constantly being like, oh, this date, oh, this date, oh, this date. And I was like, was this a date?
And I said, best, okay, I said no, but this was the best dinner of my life. And like, I absolutely want to do that again. But like, I would love to keep things platonic.
And I was fine with that. I was really excited that even if it wasn't a date, I was really excited to get to know this human being who just fascinated me and we could talk. We were at that dinner for 4.5 hours talking. Dinner had ended and we had gotten through half a bottle of port.
Because they kept giving
us free port for some reason.
I was going to say, that's even like a six course French dinner is
yeah, exactly. So like we just talked and talked and talked and talked. So I was like, look, it's not a date. That's fine. I would love to keep getting dinner and hanging out. You are such a cool person. Like, I want to get to know you more.
And genuinely, I had never had a male-bodied person. So I'm a very proud queer woman, and I have dated people all over the gender spectrum.
Which also made us really close as friends, both as queer people.
Yes.
Was like,
and I had never had a male-bodied person receive a rejection in a way that made me feel like, oh no, this person genuinely wants, first and foremost, for me to be in their life because they enjoy me as a person, and they don't care in what way that manifests. Mm-hmm. And like, even if they do care, they will not make that my problem, because that first and foremost, they are interested in me. And that made me feel so safe and affirmed and comfortable that within the next week.
Well, first off, I said, if you ever want it to be a date, let me know.
Correct. You did make that known. And then,
because I figured, might as well just let it be out there. So if it changes, great.
What had been hilarious, because as is the case in any work environment, there's gossip that goes around. And like, we had a friend who had invited us both out for dinner separately. And we both had said no, because we had plans. And then he saw us leave together. Yeah, and then next thing you know, his group chat was blowing up with people like adding us about it.
I had all of the guys at Wolf Trap messaging me.
And so
being like, are you guys dating? You guys
going out? No, we're not. And then I was like, finally, I'm going to make sure the next thing's a date. But I was covering, and he was actually in the show that we were talking about. And so we went from being next to each other every day to all of a sudden him being 50 feet away on stage while I'm in the balcony, like watching them go through tech week of the show. So finally, I just texted him and was like, I would never do this during text usually, but I have not seen you in person for 5 days now. Can the next date be a date? Like,
I literally threw my phone when I saw that text. I saw it. I was playing video games with a friend and I threw my phone in excitement. Yep. And the next one was a date. And since you had a fun little, I want to hear the rest of the story. 1.5 months later, we were in Japan together.
Yep.
And we're not going to tell you more.
Yeah.
And I will say
I know.
I will say this, as I've sort of said, and Ash knows this, right? She is like my baby sister in the Philadelphia opera world. So when I started getting rumors of a partner word,
when I told you I was yeeting to Japan,
of
all
an
of a sudden,
incredibly attractive, really well-rounded man.
No one. I've met no one. It was great to finally get to meet you, Josh, and see that you are such a great partner for my little buddy. So thank you for that.
Of course, it's been really wonderful. Being so welcomed, not just by you guys and everyone. As I'm, like I said, I'm very new to Philadelphia, and I didn't know. What to expect
you should mention that you two moved together.
Yeah,
which is already hard.
We moved in together during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, yeah, because
when I was a young artist at Washington National Opera.
I was finishing my last year of grad school when COVID hit the United States shores in that big way that it did in March, and I we first had spring break extended, and I was like, great, I had things to do. I wasn't able to come down during spring break. So I went to Washington to spend a few days with Josh. And then within 12 hours was told, don't come back. Like, we're not having school for the rest of the year. And next thing I know, 6 months earlier than we ever had intended, I was just living with him in Maryland.
We were living together before we had been dating for a year. And it was not something we had ever planned on. And eventually we talked about it, and I was like, let's just both move, get a place in Philly. You love the city. I love the city from the limited times I've been there. And I've never been happier living in a place than I am living here.
And genuinely, it was the best part of quarantine, was that surprise 6 month
So
acceleration.
that's also a very long way of saying we met at Wolf Trap.
Right. I think that we'll wind it down with one final question. And let's see, what's it going to be? I'm looking at our list here. I just want to ask, it's been a really interesting time. I mean, everyone is quite aware that we're living in this very different COVID-y time, and it's certainly affected everyone, and they're performing. I just want for the three of you to just talk about how it's affected you as an artist, and then kind of how you've compensated for it. In the meantime, Aurelien, I'd love to hear from you, because not only do you work in this capacity with us, but you've worked with opera companies all over the United States, and are currently head of music with Opera Delaware. So I'd like to know kind of how it's been for you at Opera Delaware, how it's been for you as an individual artist, and then we'll ask Ashley and Josh, and I could say a word as well, but please, Aurelien.
And then if there's like a light, fun question to really cap it off, that'd be great.
Yeah, right.
No,
it's not all depressing. Ooh,
Good
show
shorts,
some
good
leg
leg.
there.
Yes. Ow.
Oh!
This is going horribly wrong. No, so
Keep yourself.
So no, I mean, it's not all bad, which is like the end of my story, but it was really rough. I mean, when it first hit, because we at Opera Delaware, we had our second class of young artists who I was responsible for. So we had 8 artists that were here. We were preparing our scenes program, and we were, when we shut down, we were 3 days from doing that program, from doing those performances. I had started chorus rehearsals for Hoffman that we were gonna do, and it was an awkward couple weeks where we were just always in meetings with the board, because we were like, what do we do? What do other people do? And what can we wait? And so it became evident at some point that it just was not going to happen. So our priority was.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to ask, as you're speaking through this, I also want to know how Opera Delaware pivoted to kind of,
right.
deal with it.
Your favorite word, Aurelien, pivot.
I'm a big Friends nerd. That's why he says that. So that part was hard, because we had geared up, and I should have started with that. It was our 75th anniversary season on top of everything. So we were, it was going to be a great celebration. First time that we were going to do 3 operas at the same time, and blah blah. So I'm very lucky that we are a company that surrounded by companies that were just if we follow the example of the big companies, some of them were like, well, we can't do anything, see you in the fall, or see you next time, right? And we just we focused on what we could do. And so we started doing some. So we have a great facility down here in Delaware with a big parking lot, and so we started by selling the merchandise that we had for a festival. People would come in their cars. We would give them the merchandise, and we would have a singer and I just doing a song, and they would leave, and that turned into drive-by. I spent too much time in LA. The drive-through shows, So where we would have, and we would have. We like to think that before our president did that in Delaware, we did that first. We had people come in cars and park, and we would do the shows that way. So it was kind of tough adjusting to being 10 feet apart of the singer that was playing for. But then as the rules changed and it was okay to be outside, socially distant, we basically turned our parking lot into a big chess piece, or I call it a bingo set, where we had pods. So we were able to do shows for like 50 people, all like by household and all socially distanced and stuff. And we developed our outreach like we hadn't before. Like we put a trailer in the back of my car, and we put singers on it, and we went down to like sing for hospital personnel and retirement home, like people that had been at that point stuck, couldn't come to see us, so we went to see them. So that's been great. It's been what I'll remember from this time is that I think the companies and the artists who are going to still be operating and thrived through this are the ones that showed creativity and that that didn't just say, well, I'm not going to work for 2 years or 1 year, or but it's like, what can I do? And
Agreed.
so I've been lucky to be involved with companies like ePOP and like Upper Delaware and a couple others that we've been able to do things. So yeah, I don't know, like I have some colleagues and friends that have literally not worked since last March, and I don't know what I would I would have been a mess, to say the least.
Yeah. Josh and Ash.
So I don't want to lie at all or filter at all how hard this was at all. I'm not interested in doing that whatsoever, because I think it is super, super important that we do not do that moving forward. I want to own up to the fact that I was cripplingly depressed. Coming out of school, it was my last year of grad school. There was so much that was lost, not just for me, across the board. We had some devastating loss as a society, as a country this year. And I don't want to airbrush that away. I don't want to sugarcoat it away. I don't want to stop the conversations that were started in this last year. I want to make sure that they continue, and that the rhetoric that was used and the things that we talked about continue to be talked about and continue to be mentioned. And I also want to take what was good about this time as far as the way we were forced to innovate. I so ardently love and believe in our art form. I think it is I'm trying so hard not to swear. I think it is an incredible way to connect and uplift and to spotlight what needs to be acknowledged. I think it is really a transcendent, beautiful form. And I think one of the things that we can take away from this time were the ways that we were forced to innovate. What brings me hope and what has brought me through this time is seeing the fruits of those labors and seeing the voices that need to be uplifted, that were not uplifted until this point, and that were unrightfully not uplifted into this point, continue to be done. So I don't want to see what happened in the last year as far as important conversation, important art, important things that were made disappear just because there's a return to normal. I am ardently excited and hopeful and advocating for us to continue, not just a return to normal, but a evolution. I want to see us continue to evolve. And it's really important to me that when we talk about this time, when we look back at this time, that we center it not just around what was good about it, but what was hard and what we can learn from those hardships and what we need to learn from those hardships in order to continue. And weirdly enough, as like depressing as that sounds, that is what brings me the most hope. Because again, I believe in this art form beyond measure and beyond word. And I want to see that continue in the manner that I feel it ardently needs to. And I'm excited to see that marriage between what we take from it that was really positive and what we take from it that was extremely hard but necessary. And I just want us to be able to remember what made it difficult and hopefully lay infrastructure for if hopefully not, there is anything that is as similarly difficult again, that we are able to move forward in a way that uplifts and protects everyone who should be uplifted and protected in that moment. And that is how I feel coming out of this situation.
Yeah. Thank
May I
you.
have my drink back?
Whew, you sure? I don't remember which
This
one's
one.
which. So we'll see.
Okay, get yourself a
I
sleep.
have feelings.
Yeah. Whew, wow. Yeah, I felt that very deeply. And I echo it. It's important not to sugarcoat how hard this has really been. You know, a lot of us, myself and Ashley included, are dealing with constant ongoing depression on and off. It's hard. We love performing on the stage and we love what we do. And we love being able to really genuinely connect in the same space with people through our art form. And, you know, a lot of artists understandably don't want to talk about this, but our household between the two of us lost $40,000 in contracts. And that's really hard to put into numbers. But, you know, art continued on. And that's the thing that kept me going through this time was, you know, a lot of people say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. But I disagree with that. I love what I do, and it makes me want to work every single day towards it. You know, we were finding ways to connect that we'd never done before, right? You know, these Zoom concerts, these recorded concerts were far and few between in 2019. But now they're everywhere. And sure, there's an oversaturation of them, but it's because artists want to do them. They want to perform. I found that finding new ways to be creative became my outlet for this time. I found that singing and writing sea shanties with my friend became a way for me to be artistically fulfilled during this time. I found that getting online and streaming myself playing video games on Twitch became an artistic fulfillment for me because I was performing for people. You know, I was getting to have an audience and saying, this is me, but I want to show you myself, you know, in a way that I don't know how else to right now. And that's what, you know, it's bred such innovation that has made me excited for what the world, and specifically the artistic world, is going to look like coming out of COVID, because all of a sudden there's lots of people, young people, who brought these incredible ideas to the forefront to keep our artistry moving. And I really hope that they're going to get a chance to shine when we can be back on stage and when we can be face to face. Exactly. Yeah. And one thing that I think made me really excited to help me get through this is we probably, as an industry, have brought the arts to more people during COVID than we ever have before. Think of the amount of people that got to see performances online that have never had the opportunity to go to the opera house, who have never wanted to go to the concert hall because they felt alienated by it or they felt it wasn't for them, to get to come into our home, to be in your home and your home, Aurelien and Kat, right now, chatting, is something that they never got before. And it says this is something that is not just you have to wear a top hat and pay $1,000 to see a show art form. This is a put your PJs on and make yourself a drink and enjoy high quality performance comfortably. And that's, you know, and of course, you know, I'm biased, but that's what I love about ePOP. ePOP used this time to bring music to people in a way that others weren't.
And you didn't limit yourself to, you know, there is a really cool innovation that's happening right now where Zoom concerts are not the same. What we're doing, not the same as in person. It's not the same as getting that live energy from another person.
The camera doesn't clap when you're done singing. I've tried to get it to. It refuses.
It just does not work. But what's cool is when you break yourself away from just trying to recreate what a live experience is, you get stuff like what Anthony created or what Zachary created, or even the beautiful executive drag we saw. You know, like you get to think beyond the box in a way that I think ultimately allows it to be more accessible. And then when we invite, what do you think?
You Taco Bell the situation. You think outside the box.
Sorry. I mean, listen, I'm always thinking about Taco Bell. You know, when you expand what people's expectations are, it becomes easier to invite them in. And now that we've done that, inviting them in when we do have a return to whatever quote unquote normal is, I think will be a lot more easier.
Yeah. And we could, as you can tell,
we could talk about
this for hours, so we'll stop.
We will keep
but
going.
We're very passionate about it.
To Josh's point also, what I think, and I hope it does also, because that's one of the biggest problem of our art form, is that it also brings another demographic. And that, I mean, I think that is one thing that we should all focus on after this, is like, you know, we've had, even if it's like someone's son that helped their parents or grandparents go on Zoom, and then they looked and they were like, oh, this is actually interesting, I'm gonna look, you know. But it's like, you know, we're doing an art form where when we look into the audience, it's a lot of the same people, there's a lot of the same age, a lot of the same race, and we need to change that if we want to still be relevant and popular after this. And I think that putting the technology like we did, and doing things that you know, doing a Valentine's Day concert instead of like, you know, just showing another Bohème or another Romeo and Juliet or something, you know, like that. I think those are all steps in the right direction.
Yeah, art has to adapt to survive.
Even as no, go ahead.
All I'm saying, we'll close it up. Art has to adapt to survive, and ePOP is proof that art can adapt and will be something that can continue on when we're long gone and other generations are continuing to thrive. And I hope that they'll remember companies like ePOP, who made sure that art had a place in everyone's home.
And that leads me to want to ask our final question, which is for all of you, again, to answer briefly-ish.
We'll see.
Yeah, right. We'll see about that. But like,
that was our brief. Should we be briefer?
You know, that said, like, if it could be whatever you want, like, what do you want to do next creatively? And I'll say for myself, like, ePOP, we've got a lot of ideas creatively that we want to do. I don't even know if it's time to tell you yet, but we're already talking to some local business owners about doing some really different kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, think about tattoo artists, think about like really weird.
Oh no, more tattoos.
It's finally time for me. It's finally time.
Join us.
No, getting a tattoo while playing the piano, that's on expert mode.
Hey.
You can get it on the back.
We have some ideas, but anyway, we'll talk more about them hopefully in the future once we start to nail some things down. I mean, personally, there's tons of roles I'd love to still sing in my career. We'll see what happens, but you know, but I'd love to hear what you all are kind of would dream up that you'd love to do creatively, and then I'll bring it back to say goodbye to everyone. So who wants to be first?
I can. So yeah, I got y'all. So it's a split one. The thing that is currently giving the most like future potential joy in my life is I have a notes to look forward to. I have my first Susanna and Le Notes di Figaro to look forward to. That it's my absolute dream role. I love her. I think she's incredible. She's a woman who is forced to play. Yeah, like one of the longest soprano roles, but like she's someone who is forced to play a game of poker, dealt only Uno cards, and somehow still wins the match. Like, I love her. So that, like, in the realistic, as far as it's, you know, knock on wood, still happening kind of thing. But creatively, like, if there's just a world of opportunity ahead of me, I want to do another cabaret show. I got to do one with Opera Philly in September of 2019, and like,
I still think about it.
The
whole thing was good.
I love that stuff. I love doing cabaret. I love like slightly burlesque vibes. I would love to see like fun cabaret operatic mixture. Something to do with that would be really fun. Anything in that kind of environment. Because when I think of cabaret, I think again of queer culture, and I think of you know, the ways we've made space for ourselves in the world. And I have such a love and deep appreciation for that cabaret culture. I would love to be more involved with that community and doing more there, in addition to the operatic stuff I'm doing. So that's sort of where I'm at. It's very vague, though. I have a feeling that these two are going to have a little more concrete ideas.
Vague is good. You got to start with vague. No one starts with a fully formed idea.
I'm always happy to fall on the first sword of a Socratic dialogue.
What a sentence.
You can go ahead, Josh.
Sure. You know, things that I have coming up that I'm excited about. I'm rejoining who I consider to be my home family, the Opera Theater of St. Louis, this summer with a actually socially distanced, you know, outdoor performance of Gianni Schicchi. It'll be technically my professional debut with the company. I've been a young artist and a festival artist with them for many years, and I'm very excited for that. I just signed my very first contract with the LA Opera this past week for 2022, and I'm very excited.
You have all the teeth.
as far as what I want creatively, what I want to do, what I want to see, it's kind of in line with this idea of cabaret performances, is that I want to see more performance. I mean, I obviously want more opera. I love opera. I want to do more opera. I want to see more opera. I want to be back on stage. I want to be back in the theater watching the stage. I want that. I need that. But I really would love to see more concerts, not quite recitals, but kind of like what we've done here tonight, that bring in a variety of different styles of music, because it brings in a wider variety of people. I think the best way to get art out there and get people interested in art is to mix art styles together. You know, tonight we had jazz and musical theater and opera, and someone who might not have been interested in opera thought, oh, there's a jazz piece on here, there's a musical theater piece. That's really cool. And also, I don't listen to a lot of opera, but now I want to know more about it. You know, so I want to see more of these concerts that are a jazz standard, followed by a musical theater number, followed by an opera piece, followed by a sea shanty. You know, bring all of these different types of artistic styles together, first and foremost, to remind people that opera should not be an elitist art form. It should be something that is happy to coexist with other art forms, but also to show people opera. You know, everyone who came and watched this tonight, I adore you. Thank you for being here. You know, whether or not you are a 50-year subscriber to opera or it's your first time seeing it, I'm so grateful that you could be here and share with us. And I want that same feeling to exist in people who don't even know what opera is. And being a person who plays a lot of video games, like constantly, I'm talking to people who still think opera is just a big woman with horns on her head. And that's all they know, because they've never been to one, because they've never wanted to go to one. But if we presented them music they liked and knew, who knows what they would fall in love with. That's what I want to see. I want to see the mixing of the art forms to the nth degree.
Aurelien.
Well, I think I've kind of covered like what I want to see. No, I'm excited to see that there are still opera companies that that I will have opportunities with, and I'm glad, like, as we're thinking, you know, the time back in the theater is a thought now. Like 6 months ago, it still wasn't. So that's encouraging. That's nice. But I will say that, you know, when I decided to go to school for this, you know, I decided to move to another country and do a master's, and then almost finish a doctorate, but we won't talk about that. But you know, like doing all those things, right. How to fail. I would, you know, if you would have told me 5 years ago, even 2 years ago, that I was going to spend 8 months, you know, hooking a trailer to the back of my car and playing a season outdoor, and doing all those things that I've had to adjust and do because, you know, it that was the only thing I could do. I would never have believed it. So I think it on a weird way. I mean, I think I'm someone that's pretty open to change and stuff like that. But you know, in a weird way, I hope that it opened me up even more to just, you know, not whatever the next thing is going to be that I'm not familiar with now, that I'm going to be offered to do, instead of just like saying, no, I don't do that, which again, I don't think I'm doing, but you know, being like, oh, let's try it, you know, let's try it, let's see it. Because I mean, that's the thing, the simplest things, and the things that at some, you know, if I didn't have a wife, a dog, and a 15-month-old, that really helped me through this time, not to go too deep in you know, being depressed and all that, because I just couldn't you know, they wouldn't let me, but you know, just to see, you know, the best memories of the summer was just, you know, after being rained out for 3 times to get to a retirement community, rolling up, finally going there. And I mean, they had lied, like, and all their residents, like they were all in the grass, there were balconies, like it was like more than 100 people that were just like so good. That was the entertainment the live entertainment they had for since March, and this was in September, I think September or October. Just to see that something that in a year ago being like, oh, you're gonna play like 2 arias at the back of a trailer, I'd be like, huh? To see how much of a difference it made in people's lives and stuff like that. That's something that I will make me accept probably more things than I would usually, because at the end of the day, it's like I think Josh said, it's like we need to be like we live to make art, and that's why it's been so rough on artists this year, is because we can't so yeah.
About those connections, which is what we're all about tonight, and hopefully we can.
And if anything, Philly has two more live venues now between yours
That's
and
fair.
It's fair.
and Jeff and Ash,
That's
with
true.
a blue piano.
Got
Did I
one
mention
side
there was
on
a
each
blue
side-
piano?
each side of brass.
This is if you didn't know, this is Edda.
Yes, Edda,
Edda is
our sweet girl.
Our sweet girl, who was I purchased, thanks to some wonderful donors and grants from a wonderful donor to the Wolf Trap Opera. I stayed in her home while I was at Wolf Trap and played this piano every day. At the end of the summer, she said, I don't play that piano a lot. Do you want to buy it from me? And I said, I don't have any money, but I'll find the grants. I'll make it happen.
I'll figure it out.
And I didn't expect at 26 I'd own my own baby grand piano, but here we are.
Here we are.
We're
You're
just
doing better than me.
everybody.
I waited.
Y'all,
think-
ePOP is a beautiful example of continuing that art, making a place for art, and it's been a privilege to be a part of this beautiful, beautiful thing that y'all are bringing to life.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I think we're just over an hour, so I'm going to wind it down. And I just want to thank all
Yeah,
of
it's
our
past my bedtime.
That's fair. Yeah, no, we gotta go. We gotta go to bed.
Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. For those who saw the show, who have stayed on for the Q&A, for those of you who didn't watch the premiere, but you're catching it sometime during the week, we're so glad that you tuned in. And please continue to support all of the artists that you saw on the show tonight, especially the ones sitting right before you, as it were. Check in with ePOP. We've got more to share coming up. Check out our website. We're epopphilly.org. If you feel like donating a little something, you can do that too. There's a link for that. But really just share, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Live your best life. Happy Valentine's Day weekend, really.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we're so
We
grateful.
love you.
We do love you.